Alrighty, so this is day 18, and today I wanted to talk about something that has kind of been on my mind, I guess, because of the festive season. We're coming into Christmas in 5 days, which is kind of crazy because it doesn't feel like Christmas. It's not snowing, it's raining outside. I've just been living in Canada for the last 4 years, so it's been beautiful and snowy. At least like either side of Christmas. Whether or not it actually snows on Christmas is a different story. But yeah, I'm not used to this Christmas. It's like monsoon season in Australia. Anyway, I'm grateful for it. But I wanted to talk about the idea of receiving and giving, and how these two different things interact, and the belief that I have around these things through the experience that I've had. And basically that is that in order to receive, you must give. So you must give to receive. And you can think about this in whatever way best serves you. This may be as, and just if you're just wanting to see just the plain, the straight up version. If you are receiving, it gets to this point where it doesn't actually feel good to receive if you're not giving back. I had this moment today when I was at my job, and a lot of the parents are giving us little gifts, and they're just little insignificant, like didn't really cost them much, and they're just really sweet, kind gestures just to say thank you and Merry Christmas. And it's so sweet. It makes my day a little bit better. It makes me feel really good. But what I notice is I have a habit of not being mindful of events and holidays and these kinds of things, because I don't know. I just never really, I'm not super into birthdays, even though it's nice to get a present. I'm not like, I don't feel the need to be celebrated on a day I didn't really have a say in. But I do love Christmas, but the whole gift giving thing, I think I get a bit bogged down in the consumerism side of it. But when you take all that away, and you take away the actual, what the object of the gift, it's the intention behind the gift that really is, it's genuine, and you're receiving on almost like a personal level, regardless of what that gift is. And I have a habit now of, before I'm even opening a present, it's like, I love it. I love it already, because it's not the actual gift that's the point. But so what I've noticed today, just I've got a couple of different things, and it just feels really nice, the first one you get. And then the second one feels nice too. But if you're getting, receiving, it almost feels like you're not in balance, that you're kind of out of balance in terms of you've been receiving but you're not giving. But of course, Eileen, if you were to look at it, like, I guess I give in my job every day, but so it doesn't have to be reciprocated in gift for gift. It can be reciprocated in different ways. So I guess in that way, potentially I may need to expand my awareness. But yeah, this idea of giving to receive. And I think this can be a very, I think with any like relationships with other people, this is very valid, very relevant. When you are interacting with any person, it's an exchange of something. So whether you're exchanging time or emotion or value for something else, whether it's a business transaction or whatever the relationship is, there is an interaction where there's a give and a take. And if you are on the side of the fence that is taking more, that relationship is going to fall out of balance, and there's going to be some conflict. And then you might have other situations. Yeah, just like you've got to it's basically just keeping it in balance. And if you're receiving, you need to be giving almost more just to keep it in balance. one example that was just popping into my mind just then is when I was like, what was I? Just out of, I must have been in uni. And I was in university, and a friend of mine and I decided to start running and to enter a 5K race. And I know that you're probably like, and we tried to train for it. And I know you're probably like, why would you train for 5 kilometers? But for us at the time, we had never run. I don't think I had ever, like, on purpose run anywhere. It was more of a get me away from this situation, or someone's chasing me, or that teacher is yelling at me and there's a beeping machine and it's very stressful. But other than that, I had never really wanted to run from point to a point. But all of a sudden I had this inspiration, I wanted to run, and so we were like, okay, we're gonna practice, we're gonna train for this 5K. And you know what, probably was a good thing that we did, because we could not run 30 seconds or more. So we couldn't run more than 30 seconds. Anyway, so we were training, and so basically my friend lived on the other side of Sydney, and so we were kind of doing this commute. Anyway, it was this very non-significant event, but we ended up having a really big argument over the fact that she would drive to me and we would do a run, but I didn't have a car. So I would take, in my mind, was the same amount of time. I would actually probably take more time via transport to get there, and then, or to the station, and then she would pick me up and drive me to somewhere where we could run. And so in my mind, because of the time transaction, there was like a similar in time, but for her, on her end of things, and I totally see this now, I'm like, she had to drive in both circumstances, so she felt like she was giving more than she was receiving. And like an equal trade, I guess, would have been me coming all the way and her coming all the way. And so anyway, that was a lesson for me in giving more than you receive. And I think this comes down to, this can be like in terms of, I was thinking about in terms of my cash flow and what I get in. And I think it can be easy when you think that you have not enough to kind of hoard what you have. And so it's like this, I only have this much money, so I must spend it all on me. And it's funny, the times where I do that, I actually feel worse. And then if I had, just say I had $100 for the week, and I went, and I actually did this yesterday, that's why I'm feeling it. So I went and I had just spent I was just like the whole 100. I was so excited to have fresh fruit and vegetables that I spent it all, and I put it all in the fridge. And I got home and I was like, that felt really good. But then there was this feeling of like, I just maxed out my spending on me. There was nothing else to be given to someone else, to something bigger than me. And that's not to say that you can't contribute and give in other ways, but for me, that feeling of it was like a feeling of hoarding, that I was keeping it and that I wasn't being in flow of giving. And whereas other times I've, like the previous week, I had my $100 and I was really quite firm in trying to spend as little money as I could, and I was really mindful about the meals I picked, and I made sure I didn't have any waste of food, and I felt really good at the end because I then had some extra money that I then got a gift for someone, and I bought someone dinner. I bought something for someone. Something. Who knows what it was though. Anyway. Sorry, my brain is all over the place today. It's weather. Anyway, so giving more than you receive. I think that's really an important lesson, and I think this can be really valuable for kids to understand and take on and integrate into their lives, because if you're in a habit of being in contribution and giving And of course, I don't want to say that you need to be giving more than you are giving yourself. That's not at all the case. But it's more of it's again, like I said, balance. It's just keeping a balance of like, are you feeling like there's like a cutoff from other things that you could be connecting with other people, and there's actually some like unique joy in giving to others, and I think that's why a lot of people get caught up in people pleasing and doing things like that, because you get this kind of like adrenaline rush almost of like, oh, I did something good for someone else. And so you do have to be really careful when you are giving, that giving is coming from a place of a full cup, not of, I'm going to give to you so that I can validate myself. I'm going to give so that I can fill my own cup. It's coming from this place of I've got such a full cup that I don't need that extra thing or that extra piece of clothing or that extra blah, or I can like spending my time watching television as opposed to going out and being in service, doing something, donating my time or donating money to a cause that you feel really drawn to, and having, even if it's just $5 a month or a week, or just finding little ways to give out. And I think you know what, I'm going there. I have this idea of like this universal energy, I guess. And there's something bigger than us, and there's something that can't quite be put into logic or explained, in my opinion. And I believe that when you're giving, it's kind of connecting into this big thing, whatever it is. And if you're not being in flow with whatever you're receiving, if you're getting lots and you're just holding on to it, it almost cuts you off. It's like I want to hold on to everything I get. It's like, well, you're not really gonna be passing. It's kind of like if you're like a kid and playing that Chinese whispers game, or what's the parcel present one? You've got a little parcel, and you know, each time you gotta pass it around in a circle, and the music stops and it gets on you and you get to peel off a piece of paper. Pass the parcel? I don't know. It's called something. It was really fun. But you would always have those kids, and I probably was one of them, where they would like get it and they would like hold it and like linger, and like, if I just hold it like a lot longer, then maybe it'll be my turn. And we didn't realize that it was the adult that was in charge. That was someone controlling the music. And so it's this idea of like, you're holding onto it. It's like, well, I'm probably not going to pause the music on you because you're not being a good sport. Like the person, like I've done this with kids, and like the kid that's just like, yeah, whatever, pass it along. Like, I don't mind if I have a go. Everyone's going to get a go eventually. Like, they're the kid that you're like, oh, I want to stop it for them. Like, they look like they're going to just, they don't need it, but they would enjoy it. As opposed to like, when you're like, I need this. It's this different energy. It's like if you walk up to someone and they're like begging you for money, it's like this neediness vibe, as opposed to if you're going and donating your money to something that you're really passionate about, you feel really good about, because no one's like asking you to do it. It's not like a pull of like, I need this. It's like, of course there is a need for it, but if you're feeling this energy of like, I need, it's conflicting with giving. And so I think, it's a really complex thing, this giving and receiving. And I may have just lost half of you in what I've just been talking about, but I truly believe that there's something happening there, and I haven't fully understood it, but I know for sure that whether you're looking at it just as a superficial level of just, you need to be in balance with the people and the places around you in giving and receiving, just so that you keep those relationships in harmony. Or if you're looking at it in a bigger perspective, if you do connect with this idea that there is something bigger, that if you're in flow and it's circulating and it's like, we're all energy, right? And it's just all flowing through, whether that connects with you and you feel like that really resonates, that's there too. But when we're talking about kids, I think, I think this one's probably the hardest one to teach kids that I've talked about thus far. Getting kids to understand the concept of giving is challenging, especially with young kids. And they really do, they have this, it is all about them. Like there is a certain age, like there's certain ages where if you hide something behind something, just the way that they view the world, that is dropped off the face of the planet to them, because they don't understand three-dimensional universe yet. And so it literally is from their perspective out and how everything relates to them. And I think that we almost carry that into a very significant amount of our late childhood and potential adulthood. I think a lot of people hold on to that it's all about me thing. And I think if we can integrate this idea that there is something bigger than us, like even if you don't believe in any other high power or bigger energy, whatever it is that is, if you can just see that we live on this huge planet and it lives within this crazy universe that is amazing and intricate, and how it operates so precisely and just beautifully, and the fact that we're just like a ball spinning in nothing, like it's so crazy to me to think about that. But I have no idea what I was talking about. I just thought about the stars and I got really distracted. Oh, I am really not focused today, and that's okay. I am giving, receiving. Yeah, just teaching kids, I guess. Like one thing I would love to see is like little kids, like understanding, like having a choice to donate, like in terms of like, okay, they're getting pocket money and a percentage will be donated. It's not like a choice, because if you give kids a choice, yes or no, they're going to say no. Like, I can get to keep it. Yes, please. And you say, okay, like 10% is going to be saved. Like 10% of your pocket money is always saved. 10% is going to go to charity and the rest is for you. But they get to choose what charity. They get to choose what cause that money goes to. And I guess that would really, I mean, I wish that I had that when I was a kid. Like that would really empower me to get conscious of what is happening around me and look at what causes are present in the world and what things really speak to me. And you could be like, okay, there's this one or this one when they're really, really little, and it could be based on colors, or it doesn't really matter why. It's just like, which one do you want to give to? The people with the sore legs or the people with the sore heads? They don't have to know like brain cancer and things like that. That's not a thing that they need to know. But I mean, if you want to, go for it. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's, who do you want to help? And maybe they're going to be like both, and you split up the money into both. And anyway, I'm getting way too into that idea. But yeah, so giving them this idea that there is something bigger than us. There is this big planet, and it's like, yes, our small community of people and the circle that we interact with and the place that we live is important, but we have this whole planet to look after. And yes, nature works after its own self, but things like plastic and over-consumerism, these are things that we need to start addressing. Otherwise, like, our kids are gonna be not reaping the benefits, let's just say that. There's gonna be some consequences for these generations to come. So yeah, I think the kids being involved in their own future, I think would be really cool. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Give to receive. Again, another big topic. All of these are just big. I feel like I just talk for weeks about them. Who knows? Maybe that's next year. Topic a week. There's 52 weeks, Claire, not 30. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Alrighty, and for today, we are done. This has been topic number 18. And tomorrow we are back again, until we get to 30.